I recorded this whole video about game 2. I forgot my charger, so I couldn't edit the video. So then I'm like, dang, should I just come out with the video anyway? So let me just talk about real quick. Miami just straight up booty blasted the Boston Celtics. They were up 3-0. This is crazy. It wasn't even close. You thought they would have came out with some pride in game 3 and at least made it close. They got absolutely destroyed. That's crazy. I haven't really ever seen anything like this before, where 8th seed is just terrorizing. I mean, they're the number 2 seed, but I mean, they were number 1 seed. They just came out of the finals last year. They're basically the same team. They just changed their coach. But this is crazy. They should have just demolished them yesterday. We'll see if the Celtics come out and actually have some pride in game 4. The Lakers just did that. That game just ended. The Lakers came out. They tried, but they couldn't get it done. Jokic is too good. So I'm going to talk about that game later. But yeah, so enjoy my thoughts about the series in general. I mean, some of them you can kind of tell, like, okay, yeah, he definitely recorded this video right after game 2, before game 3. But a lot of the thoughts still apply. So I'm going to just basically attach that video after this little segment. But it's crazy, y'all. I can't believe the Boston Celtics about to go out like this. At least with the Lakers, I could kind of understand. Denver's really good, but Miami's really good too. So yeah, that's just something else, man. That's something else. So yeah, man, I'm feeling good. I just cleaned my room, just did some laundry. So I figured, you know what? Let me try and make another video. I told you I was hard for me to make these videos. Y'all wanna know a funny story though? I had one video and then I got like 2,000 views on that video. So I started feeling myself. So then I was like, oh yeah, let me make another video real quick. Like, let me speed it up and rush and stuff. So I rushed and I made that video, like a second video. And guess what? Let me check how many views it has right now. It's been up for 3 days and it has 32 views, which is pretty funny to me. Like I said, I don't be tripping. I know nobody watches my video for the most part. I appreciate the 35 subscribers I got right now. I love y'all. We're gonna do big things together one day. But yeah, you know what? Go ahead, subscribe. Get a chance to get a free jersey once I hit a certain threshold. I think it's gonna be 1,000, maybe 500, depending on how I feel. If I get like a bunch of views all at the same time, and then all of a sudden I'm at 500, then I'll just give away a jersey at 500, and I'll probably start giving away more stuff at 1,000. Anyways, let me get into, also I have a note. There's a video I literally uploaded like 30 minutes ago, and I mentioned about, oh, the Philadelphia 76ers should keep Doc Rivers. By the time I had done the video, I knew they didn't. I was going to put a little text note in there, be like, oh yeah, I know they fired him a little well, but you know, I didn't. Anyways, moving on to today's video. Today's video is sponsored to you by nobody. Let's get into it. Let's talk about this Celtics and Heat series. So we just have to take a second to marvel at Miami and what they are doing right now. The way that this play-in team that lost its first game and had an elimination game against the Bulls, to where they barely even got a win, to where they are now, where they've had this strong combination of getting hot at the right time, tightening up their game plans, stellar coaching, a will to win, great leadership, and that hashtag Heat culture, baby. That's putting in absolute work right now. As it stands, right now, they've kind of run through the East with very little difficulty, honestly. This is pretty crazy. I can't even really compare this to anything that I've seen before. I know it's easy to reduce it to Jimmy Bam and some undrafted dudes, but this team is locked in and they're so together right now. It'll be interesting to see if they could do the dang thing and go all the way. They beat the Bucks in 5 with that insane Game 5 comeback, have easily taken care of the Knicks, who they're honestly no pushover of a team themselves, and have toughed it out to be up 2-0 on the defending Eastern Conference champs right now. Before the series started, Malcolm Brogdon said, Miami isn't going to out-tough us. So if that's true, they dang sure are out-executing you right now. Now, as for the Celtics, being down 2-0, heading to the opponent's territory, that doesn't mean this is the end. This has actually happened to them before in recent history, though some context is needed. For starters, same team name, but that was a completely different team. In 2017, the Boston Celtics were actually the first seed that year. They went up against the 2017 Chicago Bulls, who had a guy we all know that goes by the name of Jimmy Butler. But it wasn't only him on this team though. There were also some other dudes that go by the name of Dwayne Wade and Rajon Rondo. The Bulls had all these chemistry issues on and off the court, and it resulted in this wild season of drama and all this talk. We had dudes going off on each other on Instagram, Rondo calling out Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler, all this other stuff. And this would actually be the last year that all three of those dudes were in Chicago. Despite the drama, the Bulls came out and they took the first 2 games against the Celtics in Boston and took them honestly without much resistance. Fortunately and unfortunately, a big reason for that was noted playoff maestro Rajon Rondo. So then he goes down after fracturing his thumb, and the Bulls never came close to beating Boston again. So what can we take away from this other than Jimmy Butler is one of Boston's many banes of existence? We can take away that series aren't really over until you get to 4 wins. Well, honestly, unless you go up 3-0, since no team has ever come back from that deficit, you still have to get 4 wins. That being said, the Celtics have a good chance to go into Miami and try to take care of business, even though the task ahead of them is a tough one, as Miami is 5-0 at home so far this season. Looking back at last night's game, the Celtics aren't necessarily playing poorly themselves. They come out very strong. They go on big runs themselves in moments where it seems like they will take control. But unfortunately for them, the Heat are not a team to just lie down and give up, as the fourth quarters of each game has gone on to the Celtics blowing a big lead and Miami taking control by the time the buzzer sounds. The big story with this one is that Jimmy Butler and Grant Williams' verbal altercation, if you want to even call it that. Many people are pointing to this as a poke in the bear moment, but it's the playoffs. I would have lost respect for Grant if he would have backed down in this situation. Game 1, Miami was able to get Brogdon guarding Jimmy Butler, and it was too much for him, and Jimmy took advantage. Jimmy has been doing this all playoffs, getting the right matchup, attacking, whether that's going to the rim, pulling up, fadeaways, and getting his points in these mid to kind of close range shots that the defense is giving up because they want to protect the rim and protect the three-point line, and Jimmy has been eating in those scenarios. Boston tried dusting off Grant Williams and seeing what he could do, since he was able to provide some usage in defending kind of these bigger guys like Giannis last postseason. Unfortunately for him, there wasn't really much he could do. Jimmy continued to go off and take advantage of that matchup, and that was kind of the story from there. I will once again, I'm going to say props to Grant Williams, because he was able to score on his own and provide points for Boston at a time where they were really struggling to get anything from their main guys, especially Jaylen Brown. The Boston duo weren't doing much in the fourth quarter, and that was really the story of the game. Miami went on a big run in the fourth quarter, and the Celtics couldn't do much to match it. Like I've mentioned in other videos, the Celtics are prone to poor execution, where they end up having nothing working, and instead of trying something different, they just keep going, trying to push through this wall that's in front of their way. This is what cost them last year, in my opinion, and it looks to be costing them so far. Jaylen Brown forcing up shots, going 7 for 23 is not going to get it done. Tatum making poor decisions and committing offensive fouls late in the game is not going to get it done. Miami is simply getting their best player in his comfort spots where he's able to get shots that he wants, and if he doesn't, you got Bam back there cleaning things up, getting them extra possessions, while we have Boston making terrible choices and not caring about the smaller details that get you wins, and that's especially important in the playoffs. The preparation just isn't there for them, and you can tell it is for Miami, so props to their coaching and really props to their players for executing. Once again, the series is not over. The Fat Lady has not sung yet, but this will be a very large uphill climb for a team that really struggles to focus and execute properly. I think most people wouldn't pick them to win the series right now, but you honestly never know what could happen. To be fair, I don't even remember what my original prediction was for this series. I thought Miami maybe would take it in 6, but I'd hate to go back and check and see that I said something completely different, so I'm not sure what I predicted. I will say it is looking like Miami will take the series, and it'll be a series that's on the shorter side rather than a long one. If Miami gets it done, just all the props in the world to them and how they've handled this postseason, and it'll be interesting to see. Honestly, it'll be interesting to see what either of these teams could do and how they will play, whichever one moves on to the next and final round. So once again, I appreciate the few subscribers that I have. I'd love to get more. Let's get more so I can start giving stuff away. Hopefully I actually get some views on this video. Like I said, it was funny that I was feeling myself like, oh yeah, it's time to start making videos every day. I'm getting 2,000 people following my videos, and the next one I got like 40. I didn't even get 40. So it's just funny how this whole thing goes. You never know what'll happen. That's why you just got to keep going and keep making stuff, because you never know. It's not in it for I need to get all these views. I just do this because I feel like this is something that I just like talking about. You know, I love ball, I love basketball. Anything else that may pop up on this channel, I love talking about that too. So yeah, appreciate y'all that did subscribe. Let's see what happens.